Now, off camera, I finished up all of the highlights on these little guys. So they all have some nice highlights, and this was done with Skarsnik green. So that's all good. I really like the faces are all really um, dynamic. They're all really exciting, and I hate the word pop, but they all pop. I also did, in case you can't tell, all the bases. So the bases are a mix of silver and brown. I love industrial city bases, that's what I've been painting up. And these match the bases on my Imperial fists. And here's actually, well, some Legion of the Damned that go with my Imperial fists. So here's what the bases will look like when they're done. Mostly brown with a highlight, or a dry brush, and then mostly silver with a dry brush. Sometimes add a little gold on these little eagles. And then sometimes they sort of all mix together, and there's a little bit of dirt coming out here, or skulls, or a couple other things. But it is primarily just silver and brown, and this was done with Leadbelcher and Mornfang Brown. Come on. So that's what I already did to them, just two simple colors, and I painted the silver on first, and then did the brown, and then I did a quick little touch-up just in any areas where I made a mistake. So now I am going to do one more thing to these. Before the dry brush, I'm going to use Agrax Earthshade to wash these and make them suitably dirty. And since I've been having a hard time focusing on areas, like this thing is right in front of the camera and I can't seem to focus on it. There we go. So since I've had a hard time, what I'm going to try doing just for this video is I'm actually going to move all this stuff off screen. So move the paints back. I'm going to move all the models back, except for what I'm going to be working on. And I think I'll just leave this out here and see if that helps at all. But I'm wondering if even just the cup and the brushes actually does it. Move the brushes a little bit. I'll keep this one brush, just the area where I'm going to be drying off the brush a little bit, and the paint. So we're going to see if having less things in the area of focus is going to make the recording a little better. So here's my Agrax Earthshade. Now I already have my brush a little bit wet. I did a little touch up earlier. So I'm just going to scoop some of this up. And this, by the way, is just a brush that I got from like a hobby store. I basically use this brush for painting bases, and that's basically it. It gets pretty abused. As you can see, I make lots of big, broad brush strokes. You can see it like smooshes over his feet, and yeah. So I'm pretty rough with this brush, and I definitely think for basing you should have a whole separate brush just for that. So let's just fill this all in. I like to make sure I get in all the little crevices in the eagle wings. Definitely getting the crevices in the sidewalk. And I love this, I think it's called diamond plate. And I love getting in and around the diamond plate. But that area I try not to drown in wash. I think it looks a little, so actually that's a little bit too much wash on the diamond plate, so I'm going to basically just transfer that. So let me get another mini here. So let's just plop some of that down. Now I'm going to pick some of this up. I just don't want, I like the diamond plate to be a little cleaner. There we go, that's better. So now the diamond plate's clean, and all the areas in between are still pretty murky and gross, so that's fine. Right, so you can go over there. Now we can continue on this guy. Ah! So definitely get all the corners there. And this, by the way, goes on the silver and the brown, the same color, so I can just basically paint over the whole thing. And while I was painting the bases, I realized that I actually messed up on a lot of the Gretchen feet. A lot of the Gretchen feet, this guy, for example, boy, it's so dark. There we go. A lot of the Gretchen feet are actual feet. So I think the first guy I painted, he had shoes on, which is why I left them black. But this guy, you can see there's little claws on his feet. So they are actual feet, and I should have painted them green, but I just was not paying attention and assumed that they were all boots. So I'm going to have to go back and fix those probably off camera. This is looking all right. It's a little heavy in some places. Let me just do my transfer. Is there any place else? I like the heaviness right here. So I like that it's very dark right there. I think it can be a little lighter right up here on the top. Good there. Maybe a little lighter right here. So you can either just brush that off, like I just did there, or you can just transfer it to another mini. I don't know why I'm worried about the super tiny amounts of wash that I waste, but I am. Okay, so this guy, I'm doing the same thing. Now, I love having matching bases for all of my armies. I don't think my orcs are ever going to align themselves with my Imperial fists, but just in case it ever happens, it's nice to have the same base for every single model. That way, we can say, cool, city fight, good, great for all of my armies. Okay, so I like this. So like the top of this metal is very clean. And then in the little areas here, you can see that it's pooled quite a lot of wash, which is totally fine. So that's good. All right, let's just keep going. Since this is pretty fast, I think I'm just going to do all of these on camera instead of just doing a couple. So one thing I'm actually thinking about, and I don't want to say worrying about, one thing I am considering is, oh, a quick note, I actually left, so in some of the very darkest areas, I've actually, come on, focus. I've actually left a little bit of black showing. So you can actually see it's mostly brown, but there's a teensy little black over here on the edge and over there. There's a little bit of black showing, and I'm actually fine with that for some of the very, very, very dark recesses, as these are. These are very dark recesses, so I'm actually fine with that for some areas. What I was saying before, just a second ago, is I am sort of, so with my Imperial Fist, I had nothing that looked like rusted metal or dark worn down metal. So so like when you look at these guys, there's actually very little metal on them, just a little bit on their bolter. Come on, focus. Look at mine. Focus. There we go. So there's actually very little metal on them at all. Pretty much just the bolter, and maybe I think their shoulder pads are a little bit have a little bit of metal on them, and oh, the grenades. But there's so little metal on them that they're like this doesn't contrast or this doesn't draw you away from anything, and I'm worried that the orcs' guns will just sort of blend in with the bases I'm doing here, the metal bases. I don't know if it's something I need to worry about, but I've just been thinking about that and how I definitely don't want that. Like I'm wondering if like orcs would look good on like a very actual clean base, like just grass, because then all their dirty weapons would look even dirtier on top of just green grass bases, if that makes sense. Or maybe I'm just blabbing to myself now. All right, let's get the runt herder, or the Gretchen herder, or whatever his name is. I'm actually really excited to paint the squig a little bit later, just because the squig's going to be red, which is going to be totally different than a lot of the other stuff I'm doing. Oh, by the way, I think I'm going to be doing. I really like speed freaks, so for sure all of my planes and buggies and bikes are going to be red. And then I am thinking about doing a couple other things red. Might do all my boys in sort of goth colors, but I definitely want some red on them. If I ever do like a speed freak army, if they ever come up with special rules for speed freaks, they're sort of my favorite. So I definitely want to throw some red on them, probably red shirts and stuff like that. Okay, so this diamond plate is a little too brown for me. I do really like the diamond plate to be clean. So I'm going to, again, do my little transfer. I'll just brush off all the excess here. I'm going to scoop up all the excess on this guy. Come on, focus. So I'm going to try to scoop up all the excess here. So there's a little under him. There we go. Even that's a teensy bit cleaner. There's a little bit on the back of his base. Let me brush this off first. Okay, so there's a little bit more on the back of his base that I want to scoop up. Cool. All right, so I like that a lot more. Diamond plate's a little bit cleaner. Now this guy already has some on him. This is one of my favorite Gretchen. He has this giant helmet on. He looks really dorky. All right. This guy's looking good. God, these guys are so tiny, it's hard to hold them and actually show you anything. Might need to get those little corks that you see some people painting with, just so I can hold part of the model without obscuring it from the camera. All right, that looks like the right amount of grossness to me. Got 4 more. I'm just gonna keep going today. So plop that down. I have a lot of wash in my brush. I can just a little more. And don't just, I think one of the things that I do sometimes forget to do is I always try to direct the wash where I want it to go. So I start I start painting in here in this crevice because I really want that to be dark, and then I sort of use any leftover to get into the other less important places. But like even like this crevice right here could probably be, I could try to put some wash in there. There's a little in there now. This is again a little heavy, so let me brush some of this off here. And so it's just a little bit heavy up here. You can see it's like kind of on focus. There we go. So, oh, it's hard to see on the camera, but there's a little bit too much wash here. So let me scoop that up. I think the rest is okay. Let's just keep going. Going back to the different types of bases for a second, I suppose a simple grass base would probably, I don't know if it would take the green away from the orcs, if that makes sense. Like if it would be too green, there'd be too much green because it's all the orc skin. That might actually happen. So now I'm thinking about like a dry desert base might actually be pretty great for orcs. Speaking of which, isn't that like kind of like Armageddon? Isn't Armageddon uh, dry, dusty, sandy, that type of thing? Okay, so I have this little, so this is a cool little base. I have this little spotlight here, and I'm debating what I want to do with it. I could paint it yellow, but I think for right now, I don't want people to focus too much on the bases. So I am just going to make sure that every little window has a little bit of wash in it, just a little bit, though not crazy amount. So I'm just gonna make sure that every little window, that's not the right word, but every space in between the bars has a little bit of wash, but not too much. And I think I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. I just don't want to spend too much time focusing on the bases for these guys since I have so many orcs to do. And then for this, so there's a whole pile of skulls under this guy, which is pretty cool. It's like built into the floor. And I could have painted it brown, but I think I want to leave it black. And I'm just going to do the skulls later. So this is the last guy. So let me just start pulling off a little bit of the wash. I don't want it to be too brown. Because I still want this to match my Imperial fists. Cool. There we go. All right, so that is what I'm doing today. I'm probably going to be doing, let me wash off my brush. There, so I'm probably going to be doing some black pants on these guys. Where's your got the rifle? So I'm probably going to be doing some like black pants on them because I don't want people to like look too much at the pants. I want them to be very simple. I don't want to take away from the model. This guy has like a little sash, as you can see. So anyone that has a sash is probably going to be red. And then you might be able to see that they, even though they do have like toes and claws, most of their foot is concealed by bandages. You can see a little bit over here on the right-hand side. So there's the toes, and then just above the toes is the little bandages. And I think I'm going to do the little wrappings. I don't know what they're called. But I think I'm going to do those in either a brown or in like a creamy, sandy color thing. So brown or very light brown. And then same up here. So you can see some like people have wrappings around parts of their guns. So those are going to be brown or light brown. The pants are going to be black. Um, the little sash. I do want to make those red, as well as the bandanas are definitely going to be red. Those would look really cool red. I mean, this guy just has black pants, and he's going to have a brown belt. And he also has a little. It's hard to see, but it's painted green right now. There's a little shoulder belt thing that goes over his shoulder here, and it goes around the back. You can see I painted the bullet silver already, but that's going to be brown. What else do I have left to do on these guys? Feet, black pants, pouches are going to be brown. That guy has a pouch, as well as of course his. As well as of course some of them have like little bits of jewelry. This guy has. This actually looks like a little bit metal, so I might actually go back and paint that one silver. I will be doing a wash on the silver parts. I just haven't figured out what wash exactly. I think I want it to be much dirtier than this. So what I might do is I might do 2 washes on all silver parts, but I'm just going to look at some tutorials online and see what I like the look of first. Come on, focus on this little guy. This little really dorky Gretchen that I really like. There we go. Oh, he's just the dorkiest. The helmet's going to be red. The horns are going to be bone colored. Squig's going to be red. This guy's going to have a fur, boy, I don't even know what you call that, shoulder wrap. Probably black pants, brown boots, I'm guessing. Yeah, but that's what I've got going on. And I'll just keep painting these guys and keep you up to date. See ya.